Hi, I'm Glenn. Welcome to Free Range GB. March 2020, as we all know, brought a pandemic that no one could have foreseen. And at the same time, it brought about the birth of our fifth child. 5 days later after her birth, there was a national UK lockdown.
Stay at home.
Now we'd bought a derelict farm, hoping to get out of the rat race and really start living a life mortgage-free and self-sufficient. Escaping from a suburban environment due to Michelle's health meant we really had to reassess life. She retired and homeschooled our kids, and our energy shifted from doing to being, as nothing is more important than family and time together.
So here is everything we got up to and all our projects during 2020. We were really lucky when we bought this property because when we first came here, what sold it to us was the fruit orchard, which had apples, plums, really mature trees. And I vaguely remember looking at Glenn thinking, can we really take this on? Good picture. Yeah, good boy.
What is it?
Look at this!
You will see from the initial video that this area was covered in weeds, bramble and ivy, which we pulled up and suppressed using recycled plastic membranes and mulch. In this area we have the remainder of last year's onions, parsnip and Brussels sprouts crop, along with a few perennials such as Taunton kale and walking stick kale, chard and chives. There is the tropical room, an underground well which harvests and stores the rain from our roof, which we then use to water the plot using an irrigation system, which will come in really handy during periods like we've had in April 2021 where there's been a drought.
We really like the idea of being able to go around the garden and pick food and just be able to eat at different seasons throughout the year. And so we got on the internet and we ordered 100 in total fruit and nut trees to go all around the garden, so wherever we walk we can pick something and eat it. In another video later on, Glenn will show you how he's grafted some fruit trees onto our hedgerows. We've also been able to leave some wild areas for blackberries and elderberries to grow, which should help support some of the wildlife in the area.
In the Fungi Forest, we plugged shiitake, oyster and white-capped mushrooms, and we inoculated the hazelnut trees with truffle spores. The sheep, well, they're machines. They ploughed through everything with ease and speed. Our hedgerow was pruned back within a few days, and they fertilised the ground on their way.
In order to use all of the available space, we decided to plant our potatoes and tyres in areas where we couldn't actually plant. We put the potatoes in the tyres, then we put the chicken compost on top of the potatoes and then just put mulch, which was hay from around the garden.
Wow.
The raised beds were made from a rotted old shed that we found on the farm.
This was the first time that we'd ever planted on such a large scale, with our plot measuring 3/4 of an acre. We'd had allotments in the past and would always use tillers. Gardening became a battle against the weeds. So this time, instead of fighting, we worked with the overgrowth, using it as a mulch, allowing nettles to flower to attract pests away from our crops, which helped the bees, became a fertiliser and went into our meals and juices, almost a symbiotic experience. During lockdown, we realised how privileged we had really been with such a surplus of outside space and food. This year, we made it our goal to plant extra with the thought to donate the excess to people struggling. Being in Zone 8 means that we have cool winters and warm summers, and the frost-free growing season is very long, making it perfect conditions to grow seasonal vegetables. Last year we were growing courgettes in late October, early November. So this year we pushed the courgette season earlier, and even though there's been a little frost damage, they are bouncing back and on the cusp of fruiting. As we're at higher risk of floods and the soil is thick and clayey, we found that raised beds were the best way forward, so we introduced our geese, Gandalf and Goosey Lucy into the team as pest control.
And this is one of our experiments where we've had the geese in a goose tractor and we rotate it around the garden and they help mow our grass down.
In early spring, we sow our seeds in the greenhouse to germinate, but in the winter we rotate our chickens to clear the space and turn green and brown materials, whilst fertilising the soil with their manure ready for spring. This process generates its own heat, and so the chickens stay warm and dry and get more sunlight during the winter months, which extends their laying period and they're kept safe from ailments like bird flu. Our demolition team, Peggy and Truffles, happily eat the garden waste. We use a hot compost to process their manure, which takes 6 months, and then we use them to turn our larger compost piles. Once our truffle spores have matured, we'll then use the ladies as truffle hunters. So this is where we'll leave you. We hope you enjoyed the tour. This is Free Range GB. Please like and subscribe to our channel to continue to follow our adventures and our journey.
Yes, we can go.
Cheese and biscuits.